In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you attempt the exam. In the earlier video, I told you how to prepare for the exam. Now let's look at how you attend the exam. When you start answering the questions, the first thing you must do is to read the question carefully. Now this looks like common sense, and you may be wondering why I'm even giving this suggestion to you. Surprisingly, I found that I get a lot of wrong answers because people have not read the question correctly, or they have not read the question carefully enough. They assume something without reading the question carefully. And believe me, this happens not just a few times. This happens a lot of times, a lot of people. So the first thing is, read the question once, read the question twice, especially if the question is about a scenario. And in the question, watch out for some keywords. The words could be like, what is the most efficient solution? Or how can you quickly set up something? Or what's the most cost-effective method? And so on. So when you see cost-effective, efficient, quickly, you need to understand that they are asking for a particular answer. In fact, when you see that more than one answer seem to be correct, that you find that two answers may be right, then go and read the question again. And read it carefully for these keywords. That can tell you which is the right answer. This is the first thing that you must do. As I said, read the question very carefully. The second thing, again, you may think this is a very common sense. And again, here a lot of people make mistakes. The second thing is, read the answers carefully. Don't jump to conclusion. Don't think as soon as you read one answer that yes, this is the answer, and go tick that. It's better that even if you think that you're 100% correct about an answer, to read all the other answers. In fact, I would say when you're preparing for the exam and you get a question, you're doing a quiz, and you say answer B is correct, then go ahead and check why answers A, C, and D are not correct. That will give you a lot of insight. That is, you have to say why the other answers are wrong, rather than saying, my answer is right. Now, understand this when you're preparing. That is, you should not only take the right answers, you must understand why the wrong answers are wrong. Why the other answers are wrong. That is a very good method of preparation, of knowing why certain answers are wrong. That will tell you how much you have understood the subject. Then, if you are unsure about the answer, you think that maybe more than one answer seems right to you, just mark that question up for a later revisit. In these exams, they allow you to come back and revisit your questions. You can mark it, they'll put a star mark, and then later on you can come back and look at it. Now this is a very important step. It's much important than what you think. I had a participant who had taken the exam. He came back and told me that he had just passed. I mean, the marks that he got, he said, would have been just crossed the line. He said that he wouldn't have passed had he not done this sort of revision, because he came back to look at a few questions and then he found one question that what he selected was wrong, and then he changed that, and that helped him pass the exam. So when you're unsure, mark it, come back, think about it. By that time you would get some fresh idea. By the time you have done other questions, you come back and check this, you may have your thoughts cleared and you could probably be taking up the right answer at that point in time. And finally, one thing which I tell a lot of the participants and which has helped them, all of them have given me positive feedback on this. That particular mantra is eliminate, eliminate, eliminate. Now remember, as I told you in the preparation video, it's just impossible to know in depth about every service. But when you see a question with 4 answers, you can go and eliminate some of the answers if you know the basics. For example, when I took the exam, there was a question which spoke about which services have backup as a service. Now, the answers included EC2, it included S3, it included RDS, and one more service which I didn't know about. Maybe I think it was Redshift, not too sure now, but one service I didn't know about. So what do? I first look at EC2. And I know that EC2 does not have a backup as a service. You can back up using snapshots, but taking snapshot is not a service that Amazon provides. It's your responsibility to take the snapshot. So I eliminate EC2. Then I look at S3. Again, S3 is a backup destination. There is no backing up of S3 data as such. Amazon does not give out-of-box backup solution there. For S3, it doesn't make sense, so S3 is eliminated. Now, I was supposed to choose 2 answers. Out of 4, I've eliminated 2. And I know that RDS does give me backup option. That is, the backup is automatically taken by Amazon. So backup as a service is provided to me in RDS. And finally, whatever remains is the answer. So RDS is an answer, and whatever is the next one, a service about which I knew nothing, is the answer. So elimination is very important. And this you can use provided your basics are strong. For example, let us take the case of elastic load balancer. What do you need to understand about elastic load balancer? Keeping the elastic load balancer highly available is the job of Amazon. So if there is a question which says elastic load balancer could be a single point of failure and use 2 elastic load balancers, you would know immediately that this doesn't work, because keeping this as an highly available system is something which Amazon will do itself. You don't need to do a high availability on an elastic load balancer. Once you know that, you can eliminate that answer. Similarly, let's say somebody is talking about scaling a database so that more reads can happen. Now, if the answer contains a read replica and it contains a multi-AZ deployment of the database, then you know that multi-AZ is an high availability solution. It's not a scaling solution. So when they're talking about scaling, multi-AZ does not fall into it. So you can eliminate that. And then read replicas are definitely the answers for that, because as I said, multi-AZ doesn't fall into the scaling category. It falls into the high availability category. So elimination becomes a very, very important tool for you, especially when in the answers you are looking at certain services where you may not be very sure about. So then look at the other answers which have services you are confident about and try to eliminate as much as possible. And elimination will definitely help you zoom into the answer. In fact, I would say, as I said earlier, if the preparation is, if you know not that one answer is right, but if you also know why the other answers are wrong, that is going to help you in doing this sort of elimination. And that will ensure that you get the right answer, even if you are not very sure about a particular service. Of course, the other things which I guess everybody would tell you is to be very cool when you're taking the exam, not to get flustered when you can't answer one or two questions. You may initially get into a bad patch in the sense that the first few questions may be very difficult as per you, and you may not be confident. But the idea is not to lose hope at that point in time. You understand that you have a lot of questions to answer, like 60 questions. So the first 3-4 questions is fine. If you still are not very confident, you still have other 56 questions to answer correctly. So don't get flustered if the first few questions turn out to be tough. You will find that slowly that the pattern is such that you will get a lot of questions that you know quite well. And any of the questions that you don't know, as I said, mark it, revisit and do that. So the idea is to be cool. There is a time limit, but if you have your fundamentals right, this time is more than enough to do the exam. So don't get flustered, don't panic, keep cool, and ensure you answer all the questions. Ensure you revisit all the questions at the end. It's very important that you look at all the questions again. And as I told you, not only do you want to see why the answer is right, you may also want to see why the other answers are wrong, so that you're very, very confident on what you have done. So go take the exam, and all the best for you in your exams. Thank you.